Hello students, so in this video we are going to start test series 14 and the main subject is modern history. So let's start with the first question. In the context of the freedom struggle of India, who among the following were associated with Independence of India League in 1928? So Independence of India League main aim is to campaign for full independence and self-government for India, overall India. So Subhash Chandra Bose and Jawaharlal Nehru were the joint secretaries, and Srinivas Iyengar was the president of this league. So all these three members are associated with this league. So option D. Second question, in the context of literary contribution during the freedom struggle, Annie Besant was associated with which of the literary works? So Annie Besant was the first foreign woman to be acted as the president of INC, and she wrote literary works like India, a Nation, a Plea for Self-Government, and My Path to Atheism. And other works are Ancient Wisdom, Future of Indian Politics, A World Without God, Gandhian non-cooperation or Shall India Commit Suicide, Wake Up India, A Plea for Social Reform, Study of Comma. So these are the literary works of Annie Besant. So only one and two statements are correct, option B. And the philosophy of Hinduism was the unpublished writing of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Okay. Third question is with reference to the salt satyagraha, who among the following were involved in the Dharasana salt raid? So, Gandhi was arrested when he announced Dharasana salt raid on May 4th, 1930. So, on May 21st, 1930, Sarojini Naidu, Imam Sahib and Manilal took up the unfinished task of leading the raid on the Dharasana salt work with 2,500 members. So all these three members are involved. So option D. Fourth question, with reference to the provincial government under Montfort reforms, consider the following statement. So Montfort reforms were launched in 1919. So first statement is the governor was the executive head of the province, and the governor administered the reserved subjects through his executive council, and the members of the provincial legislative councils were increased, and 70% of these members should be elected. And under this Montfort reforms, diarchy was also introduced. So only option A is the answer. Fifth question, with respect to the Mukti Sena Freedom Army, consider the following. So first, Mukti Sena consists of the prisoners of war of Indian origin captured by Germany and Italy. And Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose was the head of the Freedom Army. And Azad Hind Radio was also started to encourage Indians for their power. And he reached Singapore. Subhash Chandra Bose has reached Singapore in July 1943, and under the command of Raj Bihari Bose, Indian independence movement was started, and it is the second phase of Indian National Army. So option A is the answer. Only first is correct. Here he didn't joined Indian National Army in Singapore directly. So only first statement is correct, option A. Sixth question, consider the following statements with reference to the Commonwealth Games 2022. So the countries outside the Commonwealth are not invited to take part in these games, and 3x3 basketball, women's T20 cricket and para table tennis were included in this edition of games. So both these statements are correct. Seventh question, which of the following were associated with the left movement in India? So we have, in the political system, we have leftist and rightist. So leftist means the people who have liberal ideas. That means they want change for the welfare of the people. Whereas for the rightist means the people who have conservative ideas and limit a change. Okay, so the leftist movements associated are Progressive Writers Association and Indian People Theatre Association. So these both associations were the leftist movements. So option A is the correct answer. Coming to the Indian Association, it is the rightist movement, and it is founded by the Surendranath Banerjee and Ananda Mohan Bose. Eighth question, consider the following statements with respect to the Mahatma Gandhi's experience in South Africa. So, Mahatma Gandhi started his weekly paper, Indian Opinion, as a means to serve and consolidate the Indian community. And during the Second Boer War, Gandhi created Indian Ambulance Corps to help the British. And Gandhi Smuts Agreement was signed in 1914, not 1905. It was signed in 1914 to settle disputes regarding the Indian immigration in India. So only option C is the correct answer. Ninth question, in the context of the revolutionary activities during the freedom struggle, the United India House in Seattle was set up by Tarak Nath Das and G.D. Kumar. So option A is the answer. 10th question, with reference to the Shimla Conference of 1945, consider the statements. So Shimla Conference was attended by both Mahatma Gandhi and M.A. Jinnah, and Lord Wavell did not accept that the Muslim League is the sole representative of Muslims in India. So option A only is the correct one. 11th question, consider the following statements regarding the National Automated Fingerprint Identification System. So it assigns a unique 10-digit national fingerprint number to each person arrested for a crime, and it is managed by the National Crime Records Bureau. Both these are correct, option C. 12th question, with reference to the Nagpur session of the INC 1920, consider the following. So C.R. Das moved the main resolution of non-cooperation, and Congress decided to attain Swaraj through the peaceful and legitimate means with extra constitutional mass struggle. And Congress was from now onwards decided to from provincial Congress committees on the linguistic basis. So option D is the answer. 13th question, in the context of non-Brahmin movements, consider the following. So Ishara is a publication done in 1885 by Jyotiba Phule. Okay. And next is Kudiyarasu. Kudiyarasu is a publication in 1925 done by E.V. Ramaswamy Nayakar. Harijan was a publication done in 1933 by Mahatma Gandhi. And Who Were the Shudras is a publication done in 1946 by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. So option B is the answer. 14th question, India ceased to be a dominion of Britain in 1947. So here actually India was held a dominion status from 15th August 1945 to 26 January 1950, and the Nehru report recommended the dominion status for India within the British Commonwealth, and the British government acknowledged India's right to be a dominion first time under the Cripps Mission Plan of 1942. So option B is the answer. 14th question, consider the following statements with reference to the Indian Antarctic Act of 2022. So it is the first domestic legislation concerning India's activities in Antarctica, and it lays out penal provisions for crimes in Antarctica by Indian and foreign citizens who were part of Indian expeditions, and it prohibits Indian expedition to Antarctica without permit or written authorization of another party to Antarctic Treaty. So all these are correct, option B. 16th question, in the context of the freedom struggle in India, the Swadeshi movement in Barak Valley was led by Kamini Kumar Chanda. Option A. 17th question, in the context of the colonial history of India, the Raja Monje Pact was signed to advocate the joint electorate on the basis of the reserved seats for untouchables. So here, Raja Monji Pact, MC Raja was the president of All India Depressed Classes Association, whereas BS Monji was the president of Hindu Mahasabha. So Pune Pact was held on 24th September 1932 between Dr. B.R. Ambedkar and Mahatma Gandhi. Before Pune Pact, that is in uh, February 1932 only, Rajamounji Pact was signed. Okay, so option B is answer. 18th question, which of the following types of batteries are covered under the battery waste management rules of 2022? So actually this battery waste management rules of 2022 was passed to ensure environmentally sound management of waste batteries. So electric vehicle batteries, portable batteries, automotive batteries, and industrial batteries, all these are included in this act. Option D. 19th question, in the context of civil disobedience movement, the famous incident in which soldiers of Gharwal regiment refused to open fire on unarmed crowd occurred in the Peshawar area. So option A. 28th question, consider the following statements regarding the Mineral Security Partnership. So it is not UN led, it is a US led partnership initiative that aims to bolster critical mineral supplies chains, and India is not a member, and India is actually showing interest to be a member in this partnership. So only option D is the answer. 21st question, consider the following statements about the Communist Party of India. So it was founded in Kanpur in 1925, and its activities were actually not supported by the Britishers, and it was banned by the Britishers in 1935. So option A is the answer. 22nd question, in the context of the revolutionary activities during the freedom struggle, who among the following was associated with the Berlin Committee of Indian Independence? So Berlin Committee was formed in 1914, and it was formed to organize an armed uprising in India during the First World War. So Virendranath Chattopadhyay, Bhupendranath Datta, Lala Hardayal, all these were associated with the Berlin Committee of Indian Independence. Option D is the answer. 23rd question, with reference to the Congress Socialist Party CSP, consider the following statement. So this Congress Socialist Party is a left wing group within the Congress. So it was formed under the leadership of Jayaprakash Narayan and Acharya Narendra Dev in 1934, and it was against the policy of supporting the British in World War II, and instead advocated a revolutionary mass struggle for independence. So option C is the answer. 24th question, with reference to the central bank digital currency, that is CBDC, consider the following. So it is a legal tender issued by the central bank in digital form, and it appears as an liability on the bank's balance sheet. So option A is the answer. 25th question, consider the following statements regarding 1931 Karachi session of INC. So Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel was the president of this session, and the resolution of fundamental rights passed in this session was drafted by Jawaharlal Nehru, and Gandhi Irwin Pact was endorsed in this session. So option C is the answer. 26th question, for which of the following purposes was a passive resistance association formed by Gandhi? So it was formed to conduct a satyagraha campaign against the mandatory carrying of registration certificates by migrant Indians in South Africa. Option B is the answer. 27th question, arrange the following events regarding Gandhi's struggle in South Africa in a chronological order. So first, the formation of passive resistance association was done in 1906, and next is public burning of registration certificates was done in 1908, and then resistance against the imposition of the poll tax on all ex-indentured Indians was done. So the order is 213, option A. 28th question, in 1909, who among the following has led a deputation of London branch of All India Muslim League to Morley, the then Secretary of State for India, to request separate electorates for Muslims? It was Syed Amir Ali. Option A. 29th question, with reference to the CR formula, consider the following. So it was proposed in 1944 to solve the political deadlock between Muslim League and INC, and the formula did not rule out the prospect of partition of British India, and the National Liberal Federation opposed the CR formula. So option C is the answer. 30th question, with reference to the All India States People Conference, consider the following statements. So it was established as a reaction to oppose the Government of India Act of 1935, and the first session of All India States People Conference was held in Bombay, and it advocated independence of India, responsible government and integration of states. So only option A is the answer. 31st question, consider the following statements with reference to the Kamakya temple. So Kamakya temple is in Assam, and it is one of the 51 Shakti Peethas in India, and Ambubachi Mela and Manasa Puja are important festivals associated with this temple. So option C is the answer. 32nd question, in the context of the freedom struggle, consider the following statements regarding Ghadar movement. So Ghadar movement started in 1913. So its objective was to establish an independent Republic of India, and Bande Mataram was adopted as a rallying cry for Ghadar movement. Ghadarites criticized the loyalist role played by the Punjabs during 1857. So option D is the answer. 33rd question, in the context of the growth of revolutionary nationalism during the British time, arrange the events in chronological order. So first, Chapekar brothers Damodar and Balakrishna murdered the plague commissioner of Pune in 1897, and next, Prafulla Chaki and Khudiram Bose threw a bomb at a carriage of Kingsford in 1908, and in 1909 assassination of Curzon Wiley in London by Madan Lal Dhingra took place, and in 1912 unsuccessful attempt under the leadership of Raj Bihari Bose and Sachin Sanyal to kill the Viceroy Lord Harding. So it is 4231, option D. 34th question, with reference to the recently enacted labor code laws, consider the following statement. So as per the Code of Industrial Relations 2020, companies can permit employees to work for a 4-day in a week, and Code on Social Security 2020 restricts allowances to 50% of the total salary. So both these are correct, option C. 35th question, with reference to the Kushiara River, which was in news recently, consider the following. So Barak River separates into Kushiara and Surma rivers, and Kushiara river form a border between India and Bangladesh, and it originates in the state of Nagaland. So option A is the answer. 36th question, who among the following was a founder of Social Democratic Party or Democratic Swarajya Party, a group within a Congress that recognized unequal religious freedom to all citizens and that recognized equal religious freedom to all citizens and proclaimed adherence to ideal of Hindu-Muslim unity? It is Bhala Gangadhar Tilak. Option A is the answer. 37th question, with reference to the League Against Imperialism formed in the early decades of 20th century, consider the following. So Jawaharlal Nehru was elected to the Executive Council of the League, and Indian National Congress was an associated member of the League. So option C is the answer. 38th question, consider the following regarding GPS aided geo augmented navigation, that is Gagan. So Gagan is an Indian satellite based augmentation system jointly developed by the airport authorities of India and ISRO, and Japan, Europe, US are the only 3 countries that have the space based augmented navigation system, and it will allow aircrafts to land in a low visibility scenario. So option C is the answer. 39th question, with respect to the political integration of India, consider the following statements with respect to the integration of princely states. So under the Mountbatten Plan, princely states were given the choice to either remain independent or accede to India or Pakistan. And Hyderabad's accession to India was completed in 1948 under the Operation Polo, and the concept of privy purse offered by the British administration to the princely states was abolished in 1971 through 26th Constitutional Amendment Act. So option C is answer. 48th question, he was born in a Kaya village in Kushtia district of undivided Bengal. As a college student, he participated in the relief work under the Ramakrishna Mission on the streets of Cholera hit Calcutta. He was tasked with creating a network of the secret society to train dedicated youth for the revolution against the British by Aurobindo Ghosh, later known as Jugantar. He was arrested in the Alipur bomb case and the Howrah conspiracy case. In 1912, he met the German crown prince in Kolkata and asked him for arms for an insurrection to create a socialist government in India. So it is Jatindranath Mukherjee, option A. 41st question, consider the following statements regarding the recently reported dwarfing of the rice plant. So it is caused by the southern rice black streaked dwarf virus, that is SRBSDV, and it is transmitted from one crop to another through a white bagged plant hopper. So both these are correct. Option C. 42nd question, with reference to the Subhash Chandra Bose, consider the statements. So he presided over the anti-compromise conference held in Ramgarh, and he was arrested in 1940 when he protested against a proposed monument commemorating the black hole tragedy. So both are correct. Option C is the answer. 43rd question, in the context of colonial history of India, 16th August 1946 is well known for which of the following? It is well known for the Direct Action Day by Muslim League. Okay, and Indian National Army trials began at Red Fort on November 1945, and Royal Indian Navy mutiny was started in February 18, 1946, and Shimla Conference was organized in 1945. 44th question, which of the following statements best describes Operation Yugo? So Operation Yugo was launched in March 1944, and it was the Japanese offensive against forces of the British Empire in the northeast Indian regions of Manipur and the Naga Hills during World War II. Option A is the answer. 45th question, with reference to the August offer, consider the following. So August offer took place in 1940, and it was announced by the Viceroy Lord Linlithgow to seek Indian support for the World War II, and it provided for setting up of a constituent assembly after the war, and it explicitly promised a dominion status for India. So option B is the answer. 46th question, with reference to the term orphan crops sometimes seen in news, consider the following. So orphan crops are neglected and underutilized crops which are rarely traded around the world, and they are usually adopted to grow well in a harsh condition. So option C is the answer. 47th question, consider the following statements regarding the strong thermal emission velocity enhancement phenomena. So it is the atmospheric optical phenomena that leads into a purple streak of light. So unlike auroras, it appears at high latitudes in both hemispheres. So option A is the answer. 48th question, who among the following foreigners acted as Congress presidents during the extremist phase of the Indian freedom struggle? So extremist phase is between 1905 to 1920, and William Waterburn was the president between 1889 to 1910. George Yule, he was the first non-Indian INC president and the fourth president. He was the president during 1888, and Annie Besant was the president during 1917. So both William Wedderburn and Annie Besant were the Congress presidents during the extremist face. So option B is the answer. 49th question, in the context of the freedom struggle, who among the following belong to the extremist faction of the Indian National Congress? So it is Bipin Chandra Pal. Bipin Chandra Pal was only the extremist faction, whereas Rahmatullah Sayani and Anand Mohan Bose, both these are the moderates. Next question is in 50th question. In 1925, who among the following um, formed Bihar Provincial Kisan Sabha BPKS in order to mobilize peace and grievances against the zamindari attacks on their occupancy rights? So it is Sahajananda Saraswati. Option B is the answer. 51st question, with reference to the Gandhi-Irwin Pact of 1931, which of the following conditions were agreed by the Viceroy Irwin? So, immediate release of all political prisoners not convicted for violence, and right to make salt for consumption in the villages along the coast, and public inquiry. Only both these are agreed by Viceroy Irwin, whereas public inquiry into police excesses involving violence was not accepted by Irwin. So, only option B is the answer. 52nd question, in the context of the freedom struggle, the iconic image of Bharat Mata as a four-armed Hindu goddess wearing saffron-colored robes, holding a book, sheaves of rice, a mala and a white cloth that captured the people's imagination during the Swadeshi movement was painted by Abanindranath Tagore. Option A is the answer. 53rd question, with reference to the Indian National Congress session of 1905, consider the following statements. So it was held in Benares, not Calcutta, and the formal proclamation of Swadeshi movement took place on 7th August 1905. So Benares session was held in the year December 1905 December. Okay, so at the time of this session, Lord Minto was the Viceroy of the British India. So actually, Viceroy Minto was from 1905 to 1910, whereas Harding was from 1910 to 1916. So option D is the answer. 54th question, with reference to the infamous 1908 sedition case against Balagangadhar Tilak, consider the following statements. So Tilak was charged with sedition for defending revolutionaries Khudiram Bose and Prafulla Chaki in his newspaper Kesari, and Muhammad Ali Jinnah was one of the lawyers who defended Tilak in the court. But at the end of the trial, Tilak was sent to jail. So option B is the answer. 55th question, with reference to the Faizpur session of INC 1936, consider the following. So the Faizpur session was presided by Jawaharlal Nehru, and in this, the agrarian program adopted by the INC at this session called for 50% reduction in the rent and revenue from the peasants. So next is All India Kisan Sabha was held under the presidentship of Swami Sahajananda Saraswati in April 1936. Okay. So option D is the answer. 56th question, with reference to the civil disobedience movement, consider the following. So civil disobedience movement took place in the year 1930. Okay. So the salt march started from Ahmedabad Shamarmati Ashram to Dandi, and the salt march did not have any women volunteer. So option C is the answer. 57th question, he is famous for his involvement in the Manipuri conspiracy case of 1918. He published a pamphlet titled Deshvasiyon ke Naam and distributed it along with the poem Manipuri Ki Pratigna. He was also one of the chief founders of the revolutionary organization's Hindustan Republic Association. At the very young age of 30, the British government executed him on 19th December 1927 in Gorakhpur jail. So it is Ram Prasad Bismil. Option B is the answer. 58th question, with reference to the Desai Liaquat plan, consider the following. So it recommended for equal representation of Congress and Muslim League in the interim government, and it was announced before the Wavell Plan and after the rejection of the CR formula. And Liaquat Ali Khan was a deputy leader of the Muslim League in the Central Legislative Assembly. So option D is the answer. 59th question, in the context of the Round Table Conference during freedom struggle, who among the following attended all three Round Table conferences? So it is option D. That is Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, Tej Bahadur Sapru and Narayan Malhar Joshi. These three attended all the three Round Table conferences. 60th question, with reference to the Indian National Army, consider the following. So the decisions to form Indian National Army was formally taken at the Bangkok Conference of 1942. Subhash Chandra Bose took over the leadership of INA from Raj Bihari Bose, and Japanese army handed over the Andaman and Nicobar Islands to Indian National Army during the World War II. So option D is the answer. 61st question, works and authored by is given. So Bandi Jeevan is authored by Sachindranath Sanyal. Philosophy of Bomb was authored by Bhagavati Charan Vohra. And Pathar Dabi was authored by Sharat Chandra Chattopadhyay. So option B is the answer. 62nd question, in the context of jurisprudence in India, which of the following statements is not correct? So generally, the term bail is actually not defined under the Criminal Procedure Code 1973, and a person accused of a non-bailable offense cannot claim bail as a right. Interim bail is a direct order by the court to provide temporary bail to the accused, and anticipatory bail is available to a person before the arrest. 63rd question, so option A is the answer. 63rd question, India is to develop two hydropower projects, namely the West Sethi hydropower project and the Sethi River hydropower project, in which of the following neighboring countries? It is in Nepal, option A. 64th question, in the context of the Swadeshi movement, the Takurmar Juli, Banglar Rupakatha, a collection of children's oral folk tales that aimed at the restoration of the cultural identity of the Bengalis, was written by. It was written by Dakinaranjan Mitra Majumdar, option A. The 65th question, the Congress ministries were established in which of the following provinces after the election of 1937? So the Congress ministries were established in Madras, Bihar and Northwestern Frontier Province. So option C is the answer. 66th question, who among the following were the members of the Imperial Legislative Council? So it is Sachidananda Sinha, Madan Mohan Malaviya and Vijaya Raghavacharya. Option D is the answer. 67th question, consider the following page, Ramsar site and status given. So Ansupa Lake is in Odisha, and Ansupa Lake is the largest freshwater lake in Odisha. Nanda Lake is in Goa, and it is the Goa's first wetland. And Sirpur wetland is in Madhya Pradesh, and Thampara Lake is in Odisha, and it is a freshwater lake. So only three pages are correct, option C. 68th question, the Muslim League observed a day of deliverance and thanksgiving as a response to the resignation of the Congress ministries in 1939. So option B. 69th question, two boundary commissions were appointed to delineate borders between India and Pakistan. So in this context, consider the following statements. So Sir Cyril Ratcliffe was appointed as the chairman of both the boundary commissions, and the committee has nominated from both the INC and Muslim League. So option C is the answer. 70th question, consider the following statements with reference to the British response to the Champaran Satyagraha. So the government appointed an inquiry committee with Gandhiji as one of its members, and the Champaran Agrarian Act was enacted, which freed the tenants from the special tax levied by the indigo planters. So option C is the answer. 71st question, consider the following statements with respect to the Congress Cloth Boycott Committee. So this Foreign Cloth Boycott Committee was formed in 1929, and it was not formed by the Indian National Congress during non-cooperation movement. Next is Madan Mohan Malaviya was a member of the committee, and its objective was to bring about the boycott of foreign cloth by advocating the adoption of hand woven khadar. So option D is the answer. 72nd question, with reference to the 1911 annulment of Bengal partition, consider the following statement. So it took place during the tenure of Lord Hardinge, and the capital was shifted from Calcutta to Delhi, and East and West Bengal were reunited. So option 3 sorry B is the answer. D is the answer. Consider 73rd question. Consider the following statements regarding the Naujawan Bharat Sabha. So Bhagat Singh was the founding secretary of this Sabha, and it actively collaborated with Kirti Kisan Party to organize workers and peasants. So option C is the answer. 74th question, in the context of the freedom struggle, consider the following statements regarding the Swadesh Bandhab Samiti. So it was set up by Ashwini Kumar Datta, and its main aim was to encourage the consumption of native products and boycott the European products. So option C is the answer. 75th question, with reference to the Quit India movement, consider the following statements. So the movement was the leadership one, and there was widespread violence. Lord Linlithgow was a viceroy of India during the movement, and the three Indian members that resigned from the viceroy executive committee. So option B is the answer. 76th question, in the context of the Swadeshi movement, the Rishle circular in 1906 aimed at prohibition of students' participation in the politics. So option B is the answer. 77th question, in the context of revolutionary activities during the freedom struggle, arrange the following events in chronological order. So Kakori train robbery was done in 1925. Assassination of Saunders was done in 1928. Death of Jatindranath Das after hunger strike in prison was occurred in 1929. So option A is the answer. 78th question, he was a medical scientist who contributed immensely to the medical education and the Swadeshi enterprise in colonial Bengal. He established Swadeshi industries like National Tannery, National Soap Factory, Rangamati Tea Company, etc. He, along with P.C. Ray and Satya Sundar Deb, heralded the industrial rejuvenation of Bengal. He was instrumental in establishing the Bengal Technical Institution. He was also a member of the Bengal Legislative Council from 1912 to 27, and in 1920 he travelled to England to represent the University of Calcutta and at the Empire University's conference in London. So it is Neil Ratan Sirkar. Option B is the answer. 79th question, the Dutt Bradley thesis was popular document during India's struggle for freedom, and it was concerned with the cooperation between the communists and the INC. Option A. 80th question, in the context of the freedom struggle, the firebrand leader Lala Lajpat Rai was associated with which of the organizations? So he was associated with Home Rule League of America, Servants of the People Society, whereas this Social Service League was founded by Narayan Malhar Joshi in 1911. So Lala Lajpat Rai was not associated with this Social Service League. Okay, so option C is the answer. 81st question, in the context of the Swadeshi movement, consider the following statements regarding the Barisal Conference of 1906. So it was attended by the Muslims. So this Barisal Conference was formed to promote Hindu-Muslim unity and for the anti-partition movement. So it was attended by the Muslims, and singing Vande Mataram was banned at the Barisal Conference by the British. So option B is the answer. 82nd question, with reference to the Ahmedabad mill strike, consider the following statements. So the primary reason for the strike was the discontinuation of the plague bonus given at the time of crisis to the workers, and it was Gandhiji's first hunger strike in the Indian national movement. So option C is the answer. 83rd question, arrange the following events in the chronological order. So first formation of forward bloc took place, and next World War II started, and then commencement of Delhi Chalo movement started. So it is 3-1, option C. 84th question, consider the following statements regarding the Delhi Darbar of 1911. So it was held to mark the coronation of King George V, and all the ceremonies, traditions, and processions associated with the Darbar were exclusively Indian, and few are British. So it was exclusively the Indian elements involved. So option A is answer. 85th question. Consider the following statements with respect to the interim government of 1946. So Muslim League was part of the interim government at the beginning, and it was constituted during the viceroyship of Lord Wavell, and Jawaharlal Nehru was the vice president of the executive council. So option D is the answer. None of the above are correct. 86th question, consider the statements regarding the Alipore bomb case of 1908. So most of the accused in this case were the members of the revolutionary group of Anushilan Samiti, and Chittaranjan Das was the defense attorney of Aurobindo Ghosh. Okay, so option A is only the correct answer. 87th question, the object of the Lothian Committee of 1932 was to decide on the matters concerning franchise. 88th question, the trial lasted 3.5 years and resulted in the conviction of many leaders. The principal charge against 31 trade union leaders was conspiring to deprive the king of the sovereignty of India. So which of the following trials is being described in the passage given below above? So it is Meerut conspiracy case. Okay, so the Delhi conspiracy case was held in 1912. So it is also called the Delhi Lahore conspiracy case. Its main aim is to assassinate Viceroy Harding. Next is Peshawar conspiracy case was held during 1922 to 27, and it is a trial against mujahirs who tried to sneak into India from the Russia. So next is Kanpur Bolshevik conspiracy case in 1924. It is the newly emerged communists of India like M.N. Roy, Muzaffar Ahmad, etc. were caught and trialed for conspiring against the government. 89th question, which of the following were the achievements of the Swarajists? So the formation of the clear majority government in the provincial assembly of the central provinces in 1923, election of Vallabhbhai Patel as a speaker of the central legislative assembly in 1925, the defeat of the public safety bill in 1928. So all these are the correct one, so option D. 90th question, consider the following statements regarding the Revolutionary Socialist Party. So it refused to support the Allies power even after the USSR joined it during the World War II, and it was closed to the Congress Socialist Party ideology. So option A is the answer. 91st question, with reference to the colonial history of India, arrange the following in chronological order. So National Planning Committee was appointed under the chairmanship of Jawaharlal Nehru in 1938, and it was established by the Subhash Chandra Bose. National Planning Committee was established by Subhash Chandra Bose, and the chairman is Jawaharlal Nehru. Next is Bombay Manifesto was signed in 1938, and it was signed by 21 Bombay businessmen against the socialist preaching of Jawaharlal Nehru. Next is Lees-Modi Pact was signed in 1933, and it was an agreement made between the Bombay Textile Group and the British Textiles. So option A is the answer. 92nd question, which of the following statements is or are correct regarding the One Nation One Fertilizer initiative? So as per the initiative, all fertilizer companies will use the new brand Bharat and the logo of the subsidy scheme on the bags, and this has been launched under the Pradhan Mantri Bharatiya Jan Urvarak Pariyojana. So option C is answer. 93rd question, with reference to the home rule movement during the freedom struggle, consider the following. So Joseph Baptista was the president of Tilak's Home Rule League, and deputations of both Bal Gangadhar Tilak's and Annie Besant's League pleaded for early grant of responsible government before the Joint Parliamentary Committee in Britain. And at the Lucknow session of the Indian National Congress, Tilak's Home Rule League was allowed to propagate the message of the self-government resolution of Congress. So option D is the answer. 94th question, in the context of the freedom struggle, consider the following regarding the Meerut conspiracy case of 1929. So here it was initiated as a response to the repressive measures like public safety bill, trade dispute bill, and for prosecution of death sentence of the Bhagat Singh. So next is Muzaffar Ahmad, Shripad Amrit Dange, and Puran Chand Joshi were among the group of people tried in this case. So option D is the answer. 95th question, consider the following statements regarding the Tuticorin Coral Mills strike of 1908. So the workers demanded a reduction in the number of working hours and hike in the salary, and the workers' cause was spearheaded by V.O. Chidambaram Pillai, and the mill was owned by the Britishers. So option D is the answer. 96th question, which of the following statements best describes the term Chandler wobble? Chandler wobble is a variation in the spin of Earth on its own axis. So option A is the answer. 97th question, in the context of growth of communalism during the freedom struggle, consider the following regarding the Shimla deputation of 1906. So it was led by Aga Khan, and it was in this deputation that the claim to separate Muslim representation was made to the Viceroy. And in this deputation, it was proposed that Muslim representation in the Imperial Legislative Council should be on status and influence and not to be determined on the basis of numerical strength. So option B is the answer. 98th question, with reference to the Royal Indian Navy mutiny of 1946, consider the following. So it was started in Bombay Harbour. Indian National Congress did not officially supported the mutiny. So option D is the answer. 99th question, as per the Government of India Act of 1919, who was entitled to vote? So those who were paying an income tax on the minimum income of 10,000, a person must be in a senate of the university, and one must have some past experience in some legislative council of India. So all these are the things which for the person's qualifications for a person to entitled to vote. So option A is the answer. 100th question, in the context of the revolutionary activities during the freedom struggle, consider the following statements regarding the Gopinatha Saha case of 1924. So Gopinath Saha was arrested for attempting to assassinate Charles Tegart, who is the police commissionerate of Calcutta, and at Mahatma Gandhi's instance, All India Congress Committee passed a resolution criticizing his act, and Gopinath Saha was hanged despite the massive protest. So option A is the answer.